All right, my friends. Now we're going to try to finish the blessings over here that Bilam was forced to give to the Jewish people. So we learned yesterday about the blessings. I didn't put it up on the internet. I'm going to have to try it again. I tried twice. For some reason, it didn't record, and I tried to do it again, and I forgot to turn on the voice. So yesterday's class has not been recorded. God willing, I'll do it. But now let's just skip to the next section. Okay, here we go. Oh. So Bilam is really blessing the Jewish people. Balak takes him to a place called the Bamot Baal. Doesn't work. He takes him to a place, the Sadet Sufim, and it also doesn't work. And Balak is already near the end of his wits. He doesn't know what to do. He's afraid the Jewish people are going to. So he says, what did you do? I didn't want you to bless the Jewish people. I wanted you to curse them. And so Balak says back to him, if you give me your house filled with silver and gold, I can't close the mouth of that. I'm so told we're about to do anything good or bad from my own heart. Whatever God says, that's what I'm going to do. And now, so Bilam, I'm going to my people, but I want to tell you what's going to happen to your people. What's going to happen to, I'm sorry, to the Jews. What the Jews are going to do. What the Jews are going to do to your people in the end of days. Here we go. Now we're getting into Moshiach area. Rashi. I'm going to my people now. I am Kasher Arini Kasher Ami. I'm just the rest of my people. I'm going to my people. In other words, I'm like the rest of the nation that I came from. God's presence has gone away from me. I have no more prophecy anymore. But now I'm going to give you advice what to do in the end of for the end of days. What does it mean to do? It says, I'm going to give you advice. What you can do. I'm going to give what is the advice that he gave him? Bilam is now giving Balak advice. At first, Balak hired him to give a curse. And Bilam really tried his best, but it didn't work. So he says, but now I'm going to give you good advice to save you. Says, what is the advice? Says, the God of these Jewish people, Sona Zima. He hates licentiousness. The God of the Jews hates sexual sins. Like it says in the Gemara in Sanhedrin, Parshas Chelek, Perek HaChelek. Today you should know that Bilam gave this advice in order to make the Jews trip up with Zima. Zima means being licentious. Licentious means doing sexual crimes. Shahari Ne'amar, the Bilam. So that the Jewish people fell prey to this advice of Bilam. And now I'm going to tell you what's going to be though in the after, the end of all time. It says this is a short sentence. The sentence is like abbreviated. I'm going to give you advice how to make the Jews trip up. And I'm also going to tell you what they are going to do to you in the end of days. Oh, excuse me. Oh. All right, we're going to see what this terrible advice is, but we're not going to get to his advice, what he says in the end. But this is going to be right at the end of this Torah portion. We're going to see it. So he lifted up his poetry or whatever and he said, speaking is Bilam, the son of Beor, speaking the man who has an open eye. An open eye, a closed eye. In any case, one eye is open. Some say that he removed his eye. Rashi says that he saw the purity of the Jewish people, and he said that I have no right to see things like this, and that's why he became blind in one eye. But in any case, one eye was missing. Speaking the one who hears the words of God and knows the upper awareness of God, the visions of God he sees, he falls and his eyes are revealed. So Rashi says, what does it mean? Let's see if we can have Rashi. Das Elyon, he knows exactly to intend the time. What does it mean he falls down? But he cannot receive his prophecy when he's standing. He has to fall down. What does it mean he fell? Another word that he fell down. He fell down, but he's because Nofel Begaluyanayim, he has to fall down because he was uncircumcised. And so he had to cover this over, the fact that he's uncircumcised, and there's to hide it. And because to show that God overlooked this blemish that he had, and nevertheless he gave him prophecy. Here, let's see. Orach Chaim says this is a different Dorach. This is all doubled. All of this prophecy is about the Melech HaMashiach, which this is all explained in the Gemara that says now Achishena, either will come in its proper time or he'll come quickly. If they don't merit, they'll come in its proper time. And this means a long time away. And this is the sign from, okay, so he gives exactly what the times are. Let's go further and see exactly what his prophecy is. And I want to show you also the Rashi interprets it a little bit differently than the Maimonides does. Interestingly enough, Maimonides, that he is just supposed to be simple meaning, as he interprets it a little bit like the Orach Chaim does. The whole thing is talking about the Mashiach. So let's go. Let's see. I see him and not now. I vision him, but not nearby. There is coming a star from Jacob and a shooting star from Israel that will destroy the feet of Moab and destroy all of the sons of Shet. I see him. I can see this tribe of Yaakov and how great he is. And a kochav, like it says, this is the Durach Kashto. This is the kochav is going to be like it goes like an arrow. Durach, and it says like you put an arrow on the bow. That's called, you pull it back. It's called a dorech. And there will be a kam shevet. There will be a shevet as a king. There'll be a king that is going to rule over everyone, and he will destroy Pa'ate Shet. He will destroy the The footsteps of Shet, says. Right, here he says it means the children of Shet. Now, who is Shet? Of course, Shet is one of the sons, means all of the non-Jews. This is talking about David, Pate Moab, the nobles of Moab. It says Karkar, Mibnei Shet. Who is Bnei Shet? It means all of the nations. All of them come from Shet, who was the son of the first man, was son of Adam Rishon. Shet. So the Jewish people in the end will put all of the nations in their proper place. Says the Ramban, Darach Kacha B'Yakov, this is the Mashiach. The Mashiach, it will gather all the Jewish people together, says the Ramban, from one end of the world. So he is compared to a star which goes through the heavens from one end to the other. That's what Daniel said, that he will come on the clouds of heaven. So we'll cover the whole heavens from one end of the heaven to the other. He'll gather all of the Jews together. And the Pa'ate Moab says this means the children of Moab, right? No, I'm sorry. Sorry. The Pa'ate Moab, refers to the nobles of Moab and the Pa'ate Moab, right? This is the and Karkar, he will destroy all of the people of Shet, which that means all of the nations of the world. And those the evil people of all nations, that's what Mashiach will. Good. Vaya Edom Yerusha, it said, and will be that Edom will be conquested, and Seir also will be his conquest. Seir is also referring to Edom. What is this Edom? It's referring to Rome. It says Yerusha, Seir. All of the enemies of the Jewish people will be knocked down by the Mashiach. One from Yaakov will come and he'll destroy all of the remnants of this city. What does it mean? Also, he will rule. So there'll come another ruler from Yaakov, and he will destroy a very important city. What's that's going to be? Edom, which is Rome. Now, Rome has always been the enemy of the Jewish people. Now, I guess that Rome is the church, I guess. That must be what it is. The Al Melech HaMashiach, it's talking about the Melech HaMashiach. It says about the Melech HaMashiach, V'yirid miyom yom, he will rule from one sea to the other, and there'll be Sarid Lebeit Esav. He'll rule over the nations of Esav. Basically, what it means is they'll teach everybody about God, and the only one that really knows about God are the Jews. Here we see that all the non-Jews, they believe in a person. They think that this is God. There's like 2.5 billion people that believe in Yeshu. It's very amazing. It's pretty amazing. So the Jews will just simply show them what you're supposed to believe in. You're supposed to believe only in the Creator, and that's what it means that they'll conquer all these nations. Okay, so we say they will. He saw Amalek, and he lifted up his poem, and he said the first of the nations is Amalek. They were the beginning of the nations to attack the Jews, and the last, they will be totally destroyed. They will be totally destroyed. That's one of the commandments. It says the Melech HaMashiach is supposed to come into the land of Israel. He'll be a king, and one of the first things he's going to do is to make a war against Amalek, whoever this nation is. And I guess that'll be the nation which, even after they see the miracles that are going to accompany the Jews, as they'll still be against them. And so these are people which they're there's no hope for them. They'll see God, they'll see the greatness of it. Nevertheless, they'll still be against. That will be Amalek. That's a sign this people will be Amalek. We saw the Cani, that's what the Cani is somehow or other connected to Yitro. And he said, Eitan Moshavecha v'sim salakonecha. He is very powerful here. Rashi says, the Cani will be near Amalek. He said, what is Amalek? This must be a shortened version because I had another one here that said that he's speaking, this is speaking about Yitro. Oh, here it is. This is, here it is. So he saw the greatness of the children of Yitro. And it says the Tartim, etc. He says that I'm very amazed. How is it that you merited to this? You, to the offspring of Yitro. Although Ata Imari, you were with me together in the advice that Paro to do what to do with the Jewish people. They say that there's supposed to be a story that Paro, he wanted to know in the beginning, before there were the plagues, before there was anything, and he wanted to know what the Jewish people what to do. So he got 3 advisors, and one of them was Yitro, and one of them was Job, and one of them was Bilam. And Bilam said, Paro, you should destroy all the Jews. And Job, he was quiet. And Yitro ran away. Yitro ran away. This is because Yitro ran away, so he got this big prize that he became a ger. And Job, because he was quiet, so he got punished with and Bilam here we'll see he gets destroyed. So he says, I'm amazed you were together with me in this advice against how is it that you became such an enamored of the Jewish people? Yitro eventually converted. But let's see what the Rambam has to say about these 3 sentences. Here. Let's look at what the Rambam says. This is a translated version, so it's a good translation. In the future, there will be a king and restore the dynasty of King David. He'll build a temple, he'll gather the Jewish people. In those days, all the laws will come back. We'll do the sabbatical year, the Jubilee year. Anybody who does not believe in the Moshiach or does not wait his arrival, as he denies not only the other prophets, but he denies also the whole entire, no, he's not only denying the prophecies about Mashiach, but he's denying the whole entire Torah, because the Mashiach is the whole entire Torah. I just want to look something up over here. I don't remember that was exactly the language. 1 second. Oh. Excuse me 1 second. Yes, that's right. Okay, so if a person doesn't believe in him, or if he does believe in him, but he just does he's not awaiting the Mashiach, so he's denying the whole entire Torah. And the Torah says that he's going to come, like it says, God will gather your people together, and etc. He's going to do that by means of the Mashiach. This includes all of the statements made by all of the prophets, because all the prophets were just saying that eventually God is going to send somebody to gather all the Jews together and bring them, strengthen Judaism, bring all the Jews to Israel. The Mashiach is also made in Bilam. That's where we are. And he said there's going to be two Mashiachs. One is going to be David. And finally, the last one will be the Mashiach ben David. And that's what he says, Erenu be'ata, I see him now, that's David. Asherenu v'lo karov, and I perceive him, but not near. This is the Mashiach. A star will go for Dorach Kochav b'Yakov. A star will come from Jacob. This is talking about David. V'shevet The Israel, this is talking about the Mashiach, the last Mashiach. He will crush all of the enemies, the princes of Moab, Pase Moab, the princes. And this refers to King David, like it says in King Sam, the Shmuel. It's going to be that he'll smite Moab and he'll measure them over the line, and he'll destroy all the people of descent. This is talking about the Mashiach that Zechariah says, Vayered miyom al yom, he'll rule from sea to sea. I mean, simply the kings of the world, either they're evil and they don't really care about their people, or they are good and they do care about their people. And if so, they'll readily say, Mashiach is he's the leader. They'll know that he's the representative of the Creator who's creating everybody. Just wants the best. It says Edom will be demolished. This refers to David. He says he'll destroy David, and Seir will be destroyed. This is talking about the Mashiach. That was says like the Yavo Mashiach Bahar Tzion Lishpot et Haresav. So if so, all these sentences that we're talking about here, this is all referring to, according to the Rambam, this is all referring to King David, who was the first Mashiach, and the Melech Mashiach will be the final. He'll finish the work that David began of bringing all the Jews to Israel and establishing the third temple and reestablishing the kingship of David in the world. Okay, let's go back. All right, these are the rest of the sentences, and let us now go to the final advice of Bilam. Okay, final advice of Bilam. We just have to go back here 1 second. No, I have to go back. No, excuse me. Here we go. Let's stop the share. Yes. Okay, so that's it. Bilam goes back home, a defeated man, but before he goes back, he gives advice, and he says, "Vayeshev Yisrael b'shitim, vayachel ha'am liznot et benot Moab." The men began to have relations with the daughters of Moab. What happened? There's no, but this is the advice. One second. Made a mistake. There we go. Yes. They went to a place called Shittim, and they were sinning with the daughters of Moab because of the advice that Bilam gave, like it says in the Talmud. That's what he says. The Ramban sort of disagrees. He says that really the advice didn't really begin with the women. It was the elders of Midian that they gave them this advice. That's what it says. That's why eventually they would be destroyed because of that. That's what it says. They went to the Yarden, Evel Hashitim, the mourning, the tragedy of Shittim. What was the Shittim? They camped in the tragedy of Shittim. They camped in a place called Arvos Moab. But that's what the Shittim, they were mourning of this terrible sin that the Jewish people did in Shittim. What does it mean? Vayachel ha'am, the people began. So he said they made chulin, they made everything mundane. The holiest things they took and they made it mundane. Like it says Vayachel Noach. It says about Noach when he came off of the ark, the teva, that he planted wine. He says, what if Vayachel means he made himself mundane. He went out from his holy state. Because it was a known thing in the world that people kept away from arias, people kept away from being licentious. It was just a known thing. And harlotry is exactly the opposite of that. Any place where it says ha'am, any place where Jewish people are called the people, the nation, ha'am, this is always a derogatory term. Like it says, mitonenim, v'yirav ha'am. Also here, also the same thing. Licentiousness is a bad thing. Nor should the rabbis say that the people said, if you shoot an arrow up into the air, just up into the air, directly above you, it'll come right back to you. Because they were the first ones, Moab, they were the first ones, they didn't start doing this licentious, this harlotry. Where did Moab come? This came from, even though King David came from root of Moavi, but eventually the Lot had two daughters, and one of the daughters, the older one, she gave birth. They got their father drunk, and they had relations with him, and they both had children. And the elder one gave birth to Moab, and she called him from my father. And she said, this boy comes from my father. Like it says, Vatomer Bechira, Alatzira, right? And she called her name, the name of the baby from this licentious thing called Moab. In other words, from my father. So these daughters, they're just relatives of the elder daughter of Lot. So they're just partaking of the same sin that their forefather, their foremother, whatever did. The Jewish people were then, the people, here we go. And these daughters of Moab, they called to the Jewish men to make sacrifices to their gods. And the Jewish people were eating together and they were bowing down to their gods. They were having what does it mean? Because you talk of Yetzer Olav, as soon as the Moabite women saw that the Jewish men were interested, so they would say, listen to me. Here, they would take out a idol and they would say, bow down to this. Now it's interesting because the idol that they worshipped was really bad news. I mean, it was really very strange. You're going to see. It was called Baal Peor. The Jewish people, the Jewish men, they attached themselves to this Baal Peor. And God got very angry. Baal Peor, aporim lefanav et pia tabat, umotzim rea, v'zeu avodaso. And God got very mad. What is this Baal Peor? Baal Peor it means that they would reveal their backside and they would go to the bathroom. That was the service of this God. They would defecate in front of this idol. That's how they would. Now you might think that's pretty strange. I mean, how could people get excited about that? But it explains that all of the pleasures of this world really come from the waste products of the angels. I mean, just think about it. What does manure, where does it come from? It comes from the food that we eat. So you eat food, and if the food is really tasty and it's really good, but in the end, what is left of the food is just this manure. And I mean, that's the end result of this. So basically, that's the same thing with the angels. It says that the angels also, they live and they get energy from above, and the waste products that they can't use, that comes out to be the food of this world. Just like when people go to the bathroom, that manure becomes food for plants, worms, who knows what. It's a pretty disgusting subject, but the fact of the matter is it became a very popular god, and people really enjoyed this. So God, of course, got very angry. And so in other words, the Jewish people can be their worst enemy. Bilam couldn't destroy them. All their enemies couldn't destroy them. Amalek couldn't destroy them, but they destroyed themselves. So God says, Vayomer Hashem Moshe, take the heads of the people and hang them up in front of the sun, and then God's anger will be turned back. Says Rashi, take the heads of the people, judge, set up courts of judgment, and see who exactly was. They have witnesses, bring witnesses to see who was serving these gods. We have to, if you don't get rid of them, then the whole Jewish people are going to suffer. What does it mean? Hang up the people who were sinning in front of, like it says also, the sons of Shaul, that they hung them up. And this is after stoning, as people are hung up for a short amount of time. All people that are stoned to death in front of the, what does it mean in front of the sun? In front of everybody, so that everybody could see. It has to be advertised who were the sinners. Listen to what happens now. And Moshe said to the judges of the Jewish people, kill everyone that had a relationship with Baal Peor. Every one of the judges of Israel would kill two. There were 88,000 judges, like it says. And each one of them would judge and kill two people. Okay. All of a sudden, a person from one of the Jews came and he went to his brothers, Beyakrav el Echav et a Midianite, and he brought a Midianite woman right in front of Moshe and in front of the congregation. And everyone is crying. They don't know what to do. What happened over here? Listen. All the Jews, the whole entire tribe of Shimon came to Zimri, who was the leader of their tribe. And they said, we're all being judged with the punishment of death. Do something. So Zimri took Kazbi, the daughter of Tsur. She was like a big princess. And he took her. She was one of the princesses of the Midianites. And he took her in front of Moses. And he said, tell me, this non-Jewish woman, is she permissible to me or not? And Moshe said, oh, it's forbidden. He said, well, if you say that she's forbidden, what about you got married to the daughter of Yitro? Huh? How you got married to Tzipporah? How could you get married to her? Like it says. So everybody's crying. Moses didn't know what the law was. The law is called a baral armor. The old law is that if you see someone purposely having a relationship with a non-Jewish woman, knowing that it's forbidden, is the commandment is punishable by death, but not according to the court. Anybody who wants to take the matters into his hands can do it. So everyone was crying. Bebichia be'egel Amad Moshe Keneged. She's in when there was the crime of worshiping the golden calf. Moses stood against everybody, like it says that he ground the whole thing up. But here he didn't know what to do, because he had a good point. How could you take a non-Jewish woman? You Moshe also got married to a non-Jewish woman. Moshe could have said, listen, I converted her and everything. But nevertheless, he did take a non-Jewish woman in the end. Moses didn't know what to do. He didn't know where to find the law, what he was supposed to do. And he came along Pinchas and he took what it was coming to him. Pinchas. Now it's asked the question, why? How could it be that Moses didn't know what the law was? So it said because God wanted Pinchas to get the reward. It purposely made it that he lost his memory. Moses, he didn't know what the law was. So he said, Pinchas saw. What did Pinchas saw? He saw what was going on. He remembered the law. And he said to Moshe, Moses, I know what the law is. The law is that a person in public that has a sexual relation with a non-Jewish woman, as anyone who is zealous can kill him. So Moses said, oh, you remember the one who reads the law, he should do it. Karina the Igarta, the one who reads the law, he is the one that should carry it out. Immediately it says that he took a romach biado, that he took a spear into his hands and he killed. Here we go. What's he going to do? It says, Vayavo achrei ish Yisrael. Vayar Pinchas ben Elazar ben Ara Kohen, and he stood up from the congregation and he took a spear in his hand. He took a spear in his hand. Some say Romach means the 248 positive commandments, the Gematria 248. Took a Romach biado. He saw what was going on. He remembered the law. He said to Moshe, this is what I remembered. And he took things into his own hands. It says, Vayar Malbim. Vayar, he really didn't have to ask the question because he knew the law. But the rabbis say that as soon as he saw this, Vayar, he saw, immediately he remembered the law. He saw what was going on, that Moses somehow or other forgot the law, what to do. Here's a Midrash Sifri. It says, Pinchas said at that time, there's no one here that knows what to do to kill this sinner. Where are the big lions of the Jewish people? Gur Aryeh Yehuda, Dan Gur Aryeh. It says that Yehuda is supposed to be like a lion. Dan is like a lion. So he started to yell. Since that everybody saw that everyone was quiet. So he stood up and he took out his spear and he speared the two of them in the place of their sexual organs. And he ran around and showed everyone. They said to him, Pinchas, where are you going? He said, Ein Levi Gadol Mishimon Mikol Makom. He said, Shimon and Levi, they were the two brothers that were powerful. He said, and the ones that were sinning was Shimon. That was Shimon from Zimri. So they said to him, let him down. Let him down. And the Hitiru Perushim et Davar. And then the rabbi said, no, it's a good thing what you're doing, and they permitted him to continue. That's what he says. Vayikach Rema. Vayikach Romach. Romach is the letters of Cherem, a son Cherem, that he made them ostracize them from the Jewish people. He came to the Jewish man that was Zimri, and he stabbed both of them, the Jewish man and the woman that he was having relations with, in their sexual organs, and the terrible Vayteatzar Megefa Me'al Ben Israel, and he was the one that stopped. He prevented there being a destruction in the Jewish people. Yes, that's what he says. Good. Took away. And that was it. Then the next week's portion is going to be Pinchas, the portion of Pinchas, and going on and how God gave Pinchas this big gift, and it talks also about the holidays and etc. So that there's also a beautiful maftir over here, which comes from the prophet Micha. He's also giving a advice to the Jewish people about what's going to be right before Mashiach. So this whole thing that happened here is a preparation for the Jews going into the land of Israel. And the Haftorah is talking about the preparation from the Jews before the future redemption, which is going to be by means of the Melech HaMashiach. So we learned over here how the prophecies of Bilam were the clearest ones about Mashiach, especially according to what the Rambam says. But also, if you look at the Or HaChaim, it's the same thing. So tomorrow, God willing, we'll 8:15 in the morning, we'll finish as much as we can of the Sikha of the Rebbe. 8:15 to 9 o'clock. Have a good day with Mashiach now. And like I said, if you look at the videos that we put up, you'll see that yesterday's class was not up because for some reason unknown to me, it did not get recorded. So God willing, I'll try to record it now. Have a good day. God bless you all, and hope to see you in the Beis HaMikdash tomorrow with Mashiach now. Shalom Ubracha.